Hey crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John, and I hope you all have had an amazing weekend. Mine has been jam-packed, as you might imagine. So it's been crazy. Yesterday we actually went out on the biggest lake outside of Phoenix on a cruise for about 90 minutes out on Lake Pleasant and had a great time. And so that was interesting. I had not been to a lake in Arizona all the 5, 6 years I've lived here. So that was kind of fun to do and that. And then we had friends last night that had a big viewing party for us all to go outside and sit and watch a movie. And this poor guy, like, he brought pizza in and he brought all these roasted vegetables and all that kind of stuff. We were supposed to stay and watch Jodie Foster's new movie, but we kind of ate and socialed and left. But he actually had popcorn. He had all kinds of candy. He had all kinds of fruit. I mean, he really went all out. So it was nice. I'm thrilled that they did it. Glad that we got to spend some time over there, but then that was it. So let's jump over. Hey, Barb, thanks for joining. There's BBMK. She made it. How exciting. And yes, it was almost the perfect day to be at the lake, but I will say I am thrilled that I keep a jacket in the back of our in the car because I did need to put the jacket on because especially if you hit a shady spot in the lake, it was cool. I'm surprised how we're almost at the 1st of May and how cool this area is staying. But I'll appreciate it. My electric bill for both houses, homes, whatever, this month. Of course, we do have solar, but my total electric bill for this month was $24. So I will take the cool weather, although I have the air conditioning running now. Hey, Russ, thanks for joining. Russ is always around. He's lurking. He's sometimes getting me in trouble, but you know what? He is just an amazing guy. Hey, Beverly, thanks for tuning in this evening. There's Maureen. Hey, Maureen, good to see you. And wait a minute, what did Quilt Meets World? Let's see what Russ says. Vegetables are for the weak, according to Uncle Roger's Tastes Like Sand. Yeah, I have to say, I am not the biggest vegetable fan. I will eat most vegetables, right? I don't mind broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, all of that, peas, lima beans, all of that. I'll eat, but I'm not a big fan of a few certain ones. Curtis is more particular, although he will eat vegetables better than I do. So I don't know. You just never know how it works. So I was sitting there and I thought, okay, do I even have a project to work on? So here's the stack that I was working on last Sunday on the live. Ask John, did he get anything done this week? Absolutely not. And even worse, um, I kind of got boat fever because I really enjoy being out on the lake. And so we spent half the day today running around town looking at boats. Um, Not that I'm buying a boat, not that I need a boat. I don't need one more thing in my life at the moment, but I do get boat fever very easily. And unfortunately, I have a partner that encourages bad behavior. So if Russ isn't encouraging bad behavior, Curtis is sometimes. BBMK said roasted veggies are good. And I will have to agree. I would have argued with you years ago about that, maybe 5 years ago. But I do a lot more roasted vegetables now than I do steamed vegetables. And Curtis and I had decided at the first of the year we wanted to do a lot more fish in our diet. So we ended up subscribing to the service called Sizzle Fish. And so it's kind of like Omaha steaks and that, except you order and get all these different fish in. Every fish that we got was amazing. Everything was good. It just got to be too much as far as we just weren't fixing the fish in that fast enough. But they have some amazing recipes on their website. If you do want to try some different fish and some recipes, I would definitely go out the rest. You don't have to subscribe to them, be a member in that. You can go out and just grab the recipes. But they had a couple that talked about how to roast vegetables with a particular fish. and I've used those several times. One's got parm cheese and a few things in them, and Curtis even asked, "Well, could you fix the broccoli this way tonight?" So that's always a good thing. Russ says, "A boat, you say, right?" And the problem is, I don't even know what type of boat I want. I've always wanted a pontoon. I've always wanted the Sun Tracker party barge. And then I went and looked at Bass Pro Shop today and looked at the prices of those and realized, wow, that's a lot more money than John is willing to spend. Um, BBMK said it's called Sizzle Fish. We love fish here. Yes, so look at the website. It is Sizzle Fish, just like you spelled it, .com, and they have some really. I think we were doing the 140 a month package, but you get to go through and pick all your different fish. They have scallops that come. They have shrimp. We actually bought calamari, and I did not realize they were going to send me raw calamari, so that's still in the freezer. But it is they do send some really good fish, and we tried some fish that we had never even heard of. They don't do any bottom feeder fish, so it is a really good, healthy website, and exactly like a 5-6 ounce portion, which is what we're supposed to eat, right? So it is what it is. Hey, Danielle, thanks for dropping in. It's always good to see you. So I am just rattling on about our weekend. I did manage to get the roses and all that. Mr. Curtis has to get over to storage to get my greenery, to get what's left of other red flowers that we have, because we have all our flowers, silk flowers over there, broken down by color. So he's going to go over this week and get the greenery for me. I've got uh, 80 roses that I've got to do something with for the Derby party coming up. So I am excited to get the Derby party going. So we will see how that goes. It's just a lot going on. It's just been so crazy, and hence why I have not got to sew or do anything for the week. So Russ frustrates me because Russ said, I know a couple of months ago, that he was going to start trying to sew 30 minutes a day. um, so I really took that as a challenge and thought, how smart is that? Russ came up with a brilliant philosophy, and guess what? Never did happen. I am not able to do 30 minutes a day, and I have not sewn one thing since last Sunday. So I am going to try to do some sewing now while we just kind of sit around and chat. I will tell you, based on the weekend, I am so far behind on YouTube's. I have not watched um, anything hardly. I know Russ has posted a couple of new videos. Danielle's got a couple of things out there. I've got them all in the queue, but that's as far as I have been able to get. And at some point, we will make it happen. But it is what it is. I know y'all get tired of hearing me say that. Oh, look at Danielle. She said, I spent all day yesterday and today sewing, and now she's exhausted. I think, I was just a little bit jealous, Danielle, because uh, I seem to just keep accumulating projects, but never, I don't seem to be getting to this little machine. And I actually like this sewing machine, and it actually runs pretty well. And I don't know, we'll get there. Um, I've sewn 39 minutes a day in a while. It's horrible. I know, it's just, I tell you what, work has just been off the hook since the changes for me and that at work, which are fantastic, and it just makes it it makes it possible for me to even go look at a boat, just like I need. Right, that's what I need in my life, is just one more thing to add on to everything else we've got going. But we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't help that Curtis encourages bad behavior. So we will see. I've still got a sewing project that I've got a friend over in Georgia that we are supposed to be collaborating and doing together. And I haven't even got all of that put together yet. So we'll see. Barb says, I watch way too many YouTube videos about quilting, but I never get to working on my own quilt. I know exactly how you feel. I mean, it's just crazy. And it just, and the problem is, they really motivate me. I love watching the videos because it makes me want to just sit down and sew. It makes me really want to, get the projects going. And then I don't know, it just doesn't happen. I did order um, a few more of the 14 by 14 um, art bins to keep my projects in that. And it's interesting. I just got those the other day. So I do plan to get my projects in there and then realized I found this project stuck in a corner somewhere. And I've actually cut all the fabrics for it. It is a panel project and it is called Trickster, and it is by Michael Miller Fabrics, and it is a panel for Halloween. And y'all watch the channel enough, you know I love Halloween, so I am very excited about this. The sad part is, I literally just found this the other day as I was trying to move stuff for, I think, to make the start making the roses for the party this coming weekend, and realized, oh, you know what? You cut all of this out and got all this put together in January, and now it's almost May, and here it sits. But at least I've got it all put together. It was a kit, so I did cheat as far as that goes. If y'all consider kits cheating, I just find them economically, they just make sense to me because, again, I've got two shelves and that loaded with fabric, but at the end of the day, it just seems too economical not to do that. Russ says I may have bought two more projects yesterday. See, it's just so easy. It's just, there's so much out there that we have to do. But Russ beat me to the punch because he, I think, has made his pride flag that he bought from Cary, North Carolina fabric shop, I think. And so I would have really liked to have that done for Pride in June, but I can tell you that's not going to happen this year. So we will try to figure that out as well. But it will all get done eventually. Um, at some point, I have got to slow down with life. But you know what? Right now, I am loving life. I am out there. I am doing things, and I am going to continue to do it that way. Katrina, hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate you dropping in tonight. I know for you all, or for some folks, it is tonight. For us, it's only 4 o'clock. So BBMK goes, wow, it seems early sometimes to do a live out here, but it's late for the East Coasters and other folks. But I appreciate each and every one of you that join in and like to listen to me ramble on. Oh, Katrina says she just finished The Heart of America Sew Along with Pat Sloan. I will have to go look at that. I have not seen that, so I would be anxious to see what that looks like. Because I do enjoy. I'll be honest, I have not done any sew-alongs. So, like some of the projects that I bought from Open Gate Quilts, they post how to do things. I've got the Kona block of the months that I'm working on. I've got several things out there, but I've not just not getting there. And I don't know. So long seem challenging to me right now. So probably not going to take anything else on, but we'll see. Russ says maybe during the flag isn't done yet, but maybe during Steven's retreat. Yeah, I'd like to get back. Steven, the idiot quilter, does a all men's sewing retreat. It's the first Saturday or first Sunday of the month. I can't remember which it is. He always sends me an invite. I was able to do one, and then I haven't been able to do one since then. But that's where I met Adam. I got to see Adam and got to see his channel. So it was kind of nice to make that coordination. That's the one that gave, not gave, but traded or worked with Russ and he got got a really cool um, tote out of it. So Russ was very fortunate in that. And, it's just, we're so fortunate. I don't know if you all think about it, but how fortunate we are to have such a great YouTube community. It's just so nice that we all just enjoy sewing. We all just enjoy kind of chatting about it and doing things, and everybody just seems to get along. Katrina said that's a free pattern from FQS. Okay, I'll have to go out and take a look because we actually do a lot of the Quilt Guild here. A quilt club does honor quilts every month too. So I would be interested to see what they say, what that looks like. Danielle says, I need to get you scheduled for another sew and chat, knowing that's more chats and sew. Amen. Right. I got so much done when I did the sew and chat with Danielle. It was crazy. And I don't know, it just seems like April's been gone. And I think part of it is that Easter was, um, Easter and the travel and that just seemed to really mess me up. And then we've been trying to do other things in life and buy furniture and move things and all that, and it's just like wow, it just never um just hasn't settled down, and I have a feeling summer's not going to settle down for us. So Katrina said I think it's queen size. I'll have to take a look. I'll be anxious to see. Of course we can always kind of resize things ourselves too, so that would be fun. If I missed a comment, sorry, I tried not to. But Curtis is actually in the utility room now, trying to get out the uh, vases that I need to make the floral arrangements for the party this Saturday. So he's working on that for me. So he's not going to be in here to help out tonight. And that's okay. I'm a big boy. I can deal with everything. I could deal with it a little bit better if I knew where I put those scissors. Because I'd like to trim a thread. Wow, I have no idea where I put those scissors. Um, oh, thank you. Quilt and Valor size appropriate. Thank you, um, Katrina. You could see I'm still learning. I was really proud of myself the other day because I was in a quilt shop and I spouted off the quilting term and I turned around and looked and I was like, oh, that came out of my mouth. So I am getting better, but I will tell you, I still have a lot to learn. And um, part of the problem is just living in this community. I am lucky to have the women in the quilt um, club that I have. They absolutely spoil me. They help me in so many different ways. And it's just crazy. So that just makes it even worse. Hey, Luane, thanks for joining in tonight. I hope you have been doing well. He seems to be busy and knocking out some projects. So, how cool is that? So, I would be curious, do you all do more sewing in the summer? Or do you find that it doesn't matter? Or, do you have a particular month or time of year that seems to make more sense for you? I mean, here in Arizona, we're fortunate enough that we have pretty good weather year round, even when it's cold here. I shouldn't complain, but I will anyways because I didn't move here for cold weather. But it just doesn't seem I still have an East Coast body at times. So like, wintertime, I think I'm supposed to be hibernating and seems like I should be in and doing things more that way. And Vera says, haha, sounds like you were dealing by yourself just fine. Hey Vera, thanks for joining. And I just try to cope the best I can. It's like, I know what I like, what I enjoy, um, and not gonna make any excuses for it and just going to try to knock out the best I can. All right, so I have finally knocked out all of these blocks. So look how cool this marine quilt is going to be. It's not meant to be a quilt of valor. This is a Christmas present for what should be my nephew-in-law. He may become an actual in-law some days. They've been together 14 years now, so we'll see if they ever finally make it to the altar. And if they don't, that's fine too. They seem to be happy. Um, but we'll see how those things go. So I am anxious to get that done. I need to press open the seams on my U of L quilt, and we will get that going. And that seems like a fun project to knock out as well. I am going to set this back here, so maybe I can do a little pressing while we are on the air tonight. So we'll see how that goes. Wayne says, I seem to get more sewing done on sunny days than cloudy, overcast days. Temperature wise, it's all the same. It's just, I'm still so new to this. I keep thinking that I'll find the right rhythm in that, and then something else pops up. So I feel like that, where you make fun of people and you go squirrel because they're already off in a different direction. Yeah, that's me. I'm kind of ADHD at times. Um, there's just too much life out there. I just want to do a little bit of everything, and I got to realize sometimes that it might be better if we just slowed our roll just a little bit. All right, I'm gonna roll over here for a minute because I need my iron. So now, instead of sewing chat and sewing talk tonight, we will spend some time watching John iron as he gets ready for this project. I never know where I've put. Oh, here it is. I thought I had another extension cord. I swear I feel like this house should burn down because I think I have 3 plugs in this room and I have 75 things attached to just the 3 plugs because, when they built this house in 1978, they had no idea how much electricity I was going to need, apparently. But it is what it is. Awesome sauce, John. Thanks, Danielle. BBMK says, I don't know how to tag. Having just a couple of days to sew makes it tough. And it does. It is crazy right now, but we will get there. Hmm. Oh, Katrina says her quilt of valor went really quick. She didn't do it the way the pattern said. And I'm learning that we have a lot of patterns and I buy a lot of books and then we do it John's way. Russ says Louis the lightning bug doesn't approve too much of the things he plugs into. I laugh because my insurance company happens to be State Farm. State Farm sent me this thing the other day that says it's a new company out there, and they send you a plug, and you can plug it into your one of your outlets, the one that you don't use much, and supposedly it can look at the entire circuitry in your house, and it can tell if you're pulling too hard in any particular room or direction. Will tell you if you need to get an electrician to come out and look at stuff and that. To do it, I think the plug is free or the plug's like $50. And then it's like $20 a month to monitor it. But State Farm's figured out that it's better off for them to gift it to us as customers and to, I think they gave me 3 years of monitoring free. So I ended up grabbing it just because I was curious enough and made me feel so much better that it didn't find any faults in any of the rooms and that for me. So I'm assuming that I'm okay to continue doing what I'm doing, but I do worry about it. My dad was a IBEW electrician, and I don't think he would necessarily approve, but he also would approve enough to say, "Well, I'm not coming to the house and running more outlets and breakers for you." So I've got what I've got. So, and the thing is, everything requires a plug nowadays, even though you're not necessarily um, pulling electricity or using it at that particular moment. So we will see. I will tell you, I found this pattern that I'm working on. I found on YouTube. Never could find the pattern again, or I would give full credit to the person that posted this. It was really a cool. No, I'm sorry, I said YouTube, but I'm actually meant Facebook. And this has really been a cool pattern. It's what I did for myself with Virginia Tech. Now I'm doing the one for University of Louisville as a Christmas present, and then I'm doing the Marine the same way. And then I'll probably be over this pattern for a while. But It I don't know if we were supposed to press open the seams, but I'm trying to be better about that sometimes, although I'm not sure that I'm better about it all the time. But we will see when it turns out. It does seem to help when I'm taking this one and taking the other piece and matching them together. It does seem that it likes the fact that I did press the seams open. So believe it or not, John does. I take a lot of shortcuts and I do a lot of things John's way, but sometimes I try to do it more the right way. It does, I think, frustrate some of the women at Quilt Club sometimes because they like to tell me something, and I'm like, yeah, see, that takes a lot of time. If you just do this, it turns out almost as good. I know they cringe. Uh, Hence why I have not had a quilt entered in a show yet. Oh, and speaking of entering in a show, um, Russ just had an open porch one, and he posted he sent me a beautiful picture of the quilt that he had on the front porch or whatever at the um, local store, and man, you could tell he had put a lot of work into that. Thanks, BBMK. I agree. I think all rules are meant to be broken outside of work. Katrina says, my husband was an electrician. When I had electrical issues after he passed, I had an electrician come, put in a new panel, put the microwave on a dedicated breaker. Yeah, I have a feeling I think I took the last, I think I just filled our panel box up because I got an electric vehicle, and as such, I had to have a 220 plug ran to charge the vehicle, and I think that ended up filling that box up. So really, when I get a few $1,000s to set aside, I really would like to get the electricity updated because this house was built in '78. I love a lot of things about this house. I plan to never leave this house, and as such, I know I've got to do the right maintenance in that. And it just seems like more and more stuff is going to electricity. It's just kind of crazy. So we'll see how it goes. But I am excited that I am at least getting some projects completed. I have now managed to go 4 months into 2024, have yet to put anything on Gracie Poo over there. But the plan is um, before July, we are at least getting one project completed. I've got way too many things, and it just doesn't make sense. It's funny, my neighbor down the street, when I talk to her, she's like, "Just give me a couple of your quilt tops and send them down, and I'll long arm for you." Which is super nice because, by the way, she doesn't charge me in that. And so, for someone to offer to take them and do those, I think part of it is too, she likes to use her long arm, and she gets tired of doing some of the piecing. So I think it gives her a little bit of a break. And even though I think she puts out 3 quilts a week, she's been doing scrappiness happiness for the last few weeks. It seems like I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks though, because it's just life's just been so full. But I keep telling her no because I just want to do it myself. And yet there they sit in a pile, and I'm just doing more to add to the pile versus getting the pile done. So we will have to figure that out at some point and get there. Right. So let me figure out now. I've lost the tweezers I was using. Buried those down in there. All right. So let's see what comments. Says, did you go to the camp house? Vera says, did I go to the camp house this weekend? No. This was my weekend to go. And we had planned to go up Thursday night after work. I was going to work Friday because I can work remote Fridays. And so I planned just to do it from there. And no, Curtis really wanted to go on the boat trip that we did on Saturday. And then we had friends that was having that big party Saturday night. So no, we did not get to go. I was just very disappointed. I enjoyed being on the lake yesterday. It was nice to be on the lake, but I so badly want to get back to the house. We haven't been back for 3 weeks now. Next weekend is Derby, so we won't go next weekend. So now I'm not getting back up there till the 19th. I'm anxious because I'm hoping by the time we get back up there, that we will they'll be done with all the outside work. So they were pouring a new driveway for us. They're building a new porch for us. So we get into the house a little better, a little safer. They're putting a 14-foot awning across for us, privacy fence, building out a screen room. Um, but they seem to click along pretty good. So I'm hoping by the time we go back, everything's done and we can just go back, enjoy what I'm going to say is a short weekend, right? Because we'll just be up there a couple of days. And then the plan is to be up there for a long Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, it's funny because Curtis keeps saying, "Well, I want to get out. We want to explore the area." And I'm like, "Dude, I just want to go up and sit and just not leave the RV park and just kind of enjoy just being there for a while." So we'll see how that works out. It, so Vera calls it Shady Pines. I like Shady Pines, right? Curtis nicknamed it Mountain Acres. So he calls it Mountain Acres, and he's got our friends calling it Mountain Acres. Um, the couple that manage and run the RV park, because we've done so much work to the park home to bring it back up to speed, they call it the Presidential Palace. So I'm anxious to see how true that is and how much money we actually did put out. But I will tell you, it's so much more reasonable up there than it is in Phoenix. And with we were able to get such a great buy on it that even with all the improvements we've made, I know I have equity, and that's the most important thing. Patricia says it'll be there before you know it. I know it's just. I tell you what, work has just been so off the hook for us. So that's just that's what's just been crazy. It's just it feels like we just go to work, we come home, and we just crash. It's just been just way too much. But I'm fortunate I have a job. This time last year, I was actually looking for a job because the company I had put almost 10 years in with decided they no longer needed me, that they wanted to go a different direction. And I can't say I was disappointed because they were not a very good company. But at the same time, you just don't want to, you just rather deal with what you know. I am so much better off where I'm at today. I work for an amazing company, um, fabulous benefits. Just I can't say enough good about the company and the people I work with, but it's just been off the hook crazy the last few weeks. So I am anxious to get up there. I plan this next trip. I am taking up, I think, 4 art bins that are full of projects for me to work on. I do have a sewing table that I'm really hoping that I left the handyman to put together. So I'm hoping that'll be done. I do plan on taking my Bernina 480 up there. And so that will be my um, machine of choice up there. I do need to. I told Curtis the other day I need him to grab a cutting mat and some of the roller cutters and that, so we can take those up there. So hopefully the car won't be near as jam packed as it was last time, but we will get that figured out as we go. Oh, Russ says he didn't see your comment before mine. All right, wait a minute. Where is Russ? Because Russ is always doing something. Oh, he says quilt party video will post on Wednesday. I didn't realize that. Um, I guess I should know that. Tagging. Oh, Vera, they're calling it Shady Pine. I see it now. So, see, again, I'm telling y'all, if you all don't watch Russ's channel, you need to. he is a big jokester, and he's one of those, it's like having that younger brother that always is instigating something and then goes, "Who, me?" And looks behind him, right? Like, "Oh, but, yeah." So I kinda get in Russ's number, but, he's just a good guy, and you can't help it. I mean, you gotta love him. So, I don't know, it's been kind of crazy. Um, so what else? We got the Derby party coming up. We're going up the week of May 10th to do to get hopefully settled in the park home and get to actually enjoy it that weekend. And what's really crazy is I think it's the second week of June, maybe third week of June. I've got I've got our vacation coming up to go to Myrtle Beach. Hey Sally, thanks for joining. Always enjoy when you jump on. Sally always makes me smile. She always makes some of the nicest comments and some of the other crazy videos that I post. She's always such a positive person for me. So, and I know her grandson takes very good care of her. So she's a special person to a lot of us. Luane says, as a little brother, I plead the fifth. See, yeah, I think Luane could be bad too. I need to spend more time with Luane and figure out what he's got going on. But very anxious to get to the beach. I realized yesterday in the spare bedroom is where I have most of our printers. I bought a new Brother printer, sublimation printer. Um, they were on sale at the end of December before the new year. So I grabbed one and realized, I think it was Friday night or Saturday, that it is still sitting on the shelf in the box. I have yet to even unbox it. And one of the reasons I bought it was because I wanted to make T-shirts for all of us going to the beach this year to say, Papa John's um, bunch or whatever. And I started looking at some designs. I haven't come up with what I wanted, but I know the kids, 4 and 6-year-old, would much prefer just that screen printed type T-shirt. This will actually be the third year that we've gotten to go to the beach with them. We spend a week. We live in the same house. My daughter keeps asking who I am because when she was that age, she drove me nuts. And I just told her parents weren't as good as the parents my grandchildren have, because my grandchildren are adorable. They do no wrong, which really then drives my daughter nuts, but that's okay. Um, the best part of it is taking them shopping. We love to get trapped in the little um, stores at the beach, the little dives where you just got to buy the touristy stuff. And I especially love when my granddaughter comes over and says, "Papa John, I really got to have this. I need this. I'll die if I don't get this." And I just smile very sweetly and go show Grandpa Curtis. And Grandpa Curtis is always a soft touch. So that's served me well the last couple of years at the beach. And so we hopefully will keep that tradition alive this year. So we will see. Right, let's see. I feel like I get so far behind. I'm trying to work and read. See, I like when Curtis is in here tell me what's going on in the chat. Vera says in the calendar hanging up behind you a quilt pattern in color chart. If so, that's awesome. It is. So it's Kona. It's Kona Cotton Solids. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it came with the first block of the month in January. So it actually coordinates with the block of the month that they're sending each month. So in this month, or April, was purples. And I love, love, love purple. Me and Donnie Osmond. Donnie Osmond was always my hero. He liked purples, and I always liked purples. Uh, yeah, it is. Let's see. You passed or Russ says, I did not know chicken could be cooked to a degree. I think I missed part of that conversation. We're just gonna keep reading on. Trina says, "My son gave me a new printer for Christmas. It's still in the box. I've finished the ink cartridges I have before my son will set it up." Right? It's just, I don't know. It's just, it looked good. I got a great buy on it, but I don't know. It's one more project, so we will figure it out. So we actually bought these and did the heat press and all that on, to get these shirts put together. And we wanted these for when we go out to craft shows and just go out in general. And we still have, I think, 10 shirts sitting on the spare bed. Heaven forbid if anyone ever wanted to come sleep in that spare bed. That would completely wreck my world. And I'm not sure what we would do. Medium meant the spiciness of the wings. Oh, how would you like your chicken medium, please? Okay. Oh my goodness, they're talking about wings. We actually we went to Bass Pro Shop today, which is not probably 15, 20 minutes from us, because I wanted to look at the Sun Tracker boats. And because John didn't want to come home and cook, we cheated and went over to Cracker Barrel, and because it's literally next door. And I have not been to Cracker Barrel, I bet, in 4 or 5 years. Um, there's just not one right here in the community. It's just not a place I think of. I like it because I'm an old Southern guy, raised in Kentucky. So I actually had chicken and dumplings and meatloaf today, and they had a pretty decent meal where you could get for 13.99. You could get meatloaf, and then I think it was fried chicken or chicken and dumplings with 2 sides and that for 13.99. It was so much I had to bring at least half of it home, which is fine because now I have it for lunch tomorrow. So I tell you what, it was as cheap eating there anymore as going to McDonald's or someplace. Although they did charge me, I think it was $3.89 for a Diet Coke, and it's like, really, I've just got to start drinking water when we go out. I cannot believe um, how much these restaurants are charging for some dark syrup. It's gotten crazy. Um, Russ says, so I shouldn't plan your state's bedroom for QuiltCon. Oh, if my brother from another mother showed up for QuiltCon, needed a room, a place to stay, needed someone to help um, carry all the packages and all that, we would probably make something happen. So I am more concerned with that person making the commitment to get to QuiltCon at this point because it's still up in the air, and I think he has until November to make the commitment. So we will have to get that on the schedule. We did fly, just as FYI, we did fly that new airline, Breeze, for when we went home to Richmond. And I know they do direct flights out of Charleston, South Carolina, which I'm sure is not that close to us, but they are expanding, and we did like that. We're doing American going to the beach, just because that's where all my points and where my loyalty was when I was traveling for work. Plus, they really had the best prices out of Phoenix to get me over to Myrtle, so we will see. Um, let's see. Loane says, and how much of it was ice? Right now, y'all scaring me. See, I can't keep up. Maureen says, always like Cracker Barrel, but I haven't been there since COVID hit. Yeah, I did too. And it's like I said, it's been a long time. Um, it's just really location for us more than anything. I mean, Curtis got fried chicken tonight, and that northern kid can eat fried chicken, then anybody can. Russ says he flies Southwest because bags fly free. There's someone that's watched the commercial too many times. I used to fly Southwest, but I'll be honest, after COVID, they got so crazy. I think what did it in for me with Southwest is they lost my bags from here to Oakland, California. So I went down to baggage. Of course, they didn't have my bag. And so I'm talking with the agent at the desk, and I'm like, you all have lost the bag, and, blah, blah, blah. And so we started immediately with, well, did you get to the airport in time? And did you do this? And did you do that? And how tight was your connection? And I'm like, okay, so can we just stop? And let's not assume that I'm in the wrong, and let's start by asking some just normal questions. So I was at the airport almost 3 hours early for the flight. It was a direct flight, so the fact that you all missed handled the bag is a bigger problem. And so she went and got her supervisor and had me talk to the supervisor because she didn't want to deal with me. And I was like, I really wasn't mad other than the fact that it all was very accusatory and I had to be at fault. And I was like, I just, it's a different way to approach customer service, right? Blame the customer versus just accepting that, oh, maybe we did do something wrong. Thanks for flying AA. I'm a retiree. I worked in reservations my whole career. Well, thank you, Sally. I will say I was a bigger fan of US Air. I flew US Air for years and years and years. And then, of course, came over to American after they merged together. But it seems like they have always been able to get me where I need to get to. And um, overall, have pretty good service with them. Lorraine says you were talking about your drink, so I was asking how much of it was ice. Oh, they filled it up with your glass full. See, right? That's what just kills me. It's like, they pack it with ice, overcharge you. It's just crazy. Oh, look at the Sean, the guy who sews is on. I have not got to talk and chat with Sean forever and ever. It's so nice to uh, have you jump on my channel. Thank you very much. I did miss your channel yesterday, I will say, because I did not get up in time yesterday morning. We have been running all weekend. Russ says, I hated US Air. You know what? I actually flew US Air when they broke away from British Airways and then they had to rename themselves US Airways, which I always thought was hilarious. I actually flew them to Europe multiple times because, they had all brand new planes and a brand new crew. I will tell you, I still know my US Air frequent flyer number, and I flew so much with US Air that it was funny. I was traveling back from Italy, and this really, really pretty lady in customs stopped and was talking to me. And it was just funny. She was just really friendly and kind of knew more about me than I thought she should know. And finally, she laughed. She goes, "You don't know who I am. Like, you have no idea." And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry." I said, "I really don't." And she goes, "I'm your flight attendant every week from Augusta to Charlotte." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're right." And she was on vacation. So, and of course, I had never seen her except in her US Air uniform. So it was, that was back in the days where you had relations like that you could build because they didn't move. I can take the same flight every week now, and you never see the same flight attendants. I mean, they move them around, and um, I guess they just assign them flights different than they used to. But back in the day, I remember, I had some of the same flight attendants, a lot of the same TSA agents going through some of these smaller airports and that, and it did make it really nice. Sally says every airline has its fans and haters. Yeah, anytime you're dealing with customers, it only takes one incident to make people just go crazy. I love when they cancel a flight or they push it off that it's going to be, a little bit later, and people want to go up and yell at the gate agent because that's what the gate agent wanted. They wanted your flight to go late, so you would be mad and they'd have to deal with you. So I just shake my head. I flew for too long, too many airlines. Let's see who else. So I don't know. It's been we have so much going on at work. We have so much going on here. We have a lot to get accomplished this summer. I am anxious to see what projects we can get knocked out, what we can get accomplished. You look at somebody like Danielle, I get very jealous because I mean, she's just knocking things out. Now she's got her new craft display up there in Michigan. So I hope that that is going well and keeping her very busy with having to backstock and backfill. So I don't know because I haven't seen her channel for a while. So we will have to see. I knew I was going to need those to tuck that. Um, Sean says I've gotten free baggage and lounge access just by being, yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. It's just so funny. It's like, you know, it's a job for them just like it's a job for us. And I don't know why people feel like they have the right to go up and yell at these gate agents or give them grief. It's just like, these some of these poor kids are just trying to make a living like the rest of us. And I'm sure Sally dealt with her fair share just on the phones and that. And people really get brave on the phone. It's like, folks, would you talk to your mother that way? I mean, just come on. But it's become part of the society we're in, I think. And that's why, like I said, I love the YouTube channel. I think we have built such a great community here. I think the ones that enjoy being together are together. Danielle's been so great. Sean got me started. If it wasn't for Sean, I don't know that I would be approaching 800 folks and even been brave enough to do um, alive at some point. So he really helped initiate things for me. Russ is just becomes a very good friend, and I love when he sends me some funny memes and some things just to make me grin or make me wonder what the day is going to be like. But he has become such a good friend. And, when you look at the followers and subscribers that we have, it's just nice to know that we've got a safe community just to go out to talk with. Lewayne is dipping his toe in doing lives in that now. So, it's just such an exciting time and nice that it's not a competitive environment. We all like to talk about the projects that we have going, what we're working on, to share back and forth. I know this is a community that when I struggle and don't know how to put something together on a project, I've got friends that I can just reach out to in my YouTube world that will help me figure out what's going on in that. And it's just, that becomes very special nowadays where the world has just seemed to be upside down. I have definitely learned I enjoy watching YouTube a whole lot more than watching the news. In fact, we hardly ever turn the news on. I am a big news person, but I only like the local news. And so Curtis will tell you I hardly ever have national news on because I can't influence and do a lot about what's happening nationally. I can do that every 2 or 4 years. And beyond that, I have just, it is just what it is. And I just don't want to deal with it or hear about it anymore. And it's just that's become very sad, I think, for our country overall. Uh, yeah, Barb says, um, I think COVID brought out the ugliest people and their attitudes. And I agree with that. It's funny. Um, Curtis actually has a shirt. We both do, but he wears his more than me that says, I'm done peopling. And I can tell you there's days that we go out to run and grab some things in that, and he'll finally just say, "Look, we just got to go home. I am just over people today, and the attitudes and the, um, I don't know, just people have gotten ugly, and I think that's why we tend to stay in some of the communities that we do. That we tend to stay a little bit more reserved and just like what's happening here because it is just a much safer, logical environment for us. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing. I'm putting together the University of Louisville, and look how cool, whether or not you like the school or not, look how cool these blocks are going to be. So I'm really excited to get these going. So let me keep sewing for a little bit, and let's see if we can at least get this stack knocked out this evening. The guy who so let's see. Sally says yes. People got brave and rude on the phone. Um, oh, I touched the wrong thing. Sorry. Um, she says, "I'm glad I'm not in the airline industry anymore. Things have just gotten so ugly. I just don't want to deal with people. I would not want to be in the service industry anymore. It's just crazy." Sean says, "Where is Curtis?" So, if you had been on earlier, we are having a big Derby party for the Kentucky Derby next Saturday. So, Curtis is actually in the utility room in the cabinets underneath, trying to find all the vases that I need to put together my floral arrangements because it is the Run for the Roses. So, he is over there working on those tonight, trying to get that ready so I can do that project one day this week when I get home from work. And so that's yet one more thing that we need to do. But we love having parties. We're fortunate to live in a community with a bunch of great friends that we can have a nice social time, not a crazy time, and everybody does seem to get along here. And I think that's part of just being in the 55 plus community. I am very fortunate that I've gotten to that age and been able to survive it. Sean says he needs that shirt. We will be getting Sean a shirt. Sean's earned so much and helped so much for us. National news makes me very nervous. Yeah, it does me too. It's just been so crazy. So Russ says, I'm disgustingly cheerful when dealing with customer service folks. Makes it impossible for them to be in a bad mood and I get better help. I can imagine how disgustingly cheerful Russ is. He's such a buddy. I can't wait to. He is. I really hope we all have to encourage Russ that the short flight to Phoenix will be worth it, and how much fun we'll have at QuiltCon, and that we will make it happen. Plus, it's the right time of year, right? It's February, so it's going to be beautiful weather. You need to get out of that icy Atlanta area because it's going to be very icy and snowy. And he's been to Phoenix. He knows how beautiful Phoenix can be and that it's just meant to be. Um, we will see. We will keep encouraging him until he says yes. Sean says, I can picture that. Russ is a joy to hang out with. He is. You all have all been so great to us and so welcoming in getting us going and encouraged. It's just made such a difference for us. And now I just need one of you to figure out how to come over and show me how to do the long arm and get that machine going. But we will get there. It's funny, one of the ladies in Quilt Club actually has exactly my setup, my machine, everything. And for the life of me, I can't remember which one out of 200 women it is because I would even pay her to come over and help me run a couple of quilt tops just to kind of get me going. Because it's one of those things like, I think once you've done the first couple, then you'll find your own groove, but you just need someone to kind of get you through over that first hump or so. And that's the problem when you buy used. But we'll get it figured out. I'm not dumb. It just takes time. Sewing with Luane, worst customer service people I've dealt with is Comcast. Comcast can certainly be a challenge. Um, Danielle said it's family time here. Everyone have a good night. Danielle, thanks for joining in. We appreciate you always dropping in. Hope you have a good night. Sean says he knows next to nothing about long arms, so he is not able to help. I tell you, it's when I bought it, I had visions of sugar plum fairies in my head and knew how quickly I would finish all these projects and all this. And um, that has not come to fruition, but it will, and we will get there at some point, and that will make it happen. But it's just crazy. Hey, Andrea, thanks for joining in tonight. I appreciate you being here. I feel bad that you've got headaches. More sewing. Yeah, she says she's been sleeping more than sewing. Interesting. My daughter was in a car wreck a couple of years ago, and she said she now understands where people talk about migraines and headaches, and she's had a lot of issues the last couple of years, and she's been such a trooper about it. I actually didn't know how bad some of the things were, but she's still dealing with them. Part of the problem was when she was in that wreck, she was like 6 months pregnant, so they wouldn't even do anything for her. Right. Sean says I go by the rule of three. I think something will take an hour to sew. I need to budget 3 hours. Amen. Oh, thanks, Barb. See, Barb sent me my sugar plum fairies, right? Sometimes that's all we need. It's just that little extra in our life to help us get things done the way we think it should be. But we will figure it out. We will get it done, and I will proudly present couple of quilts this year as Christmas gifts that I can say from start to finish, they were completely mine. I cut all the fabric, I pieced all the fabric, I long armed the quilting on it, I put the binding on. And yes, by the way, I don't know about you all, but I do machine binding. I did not spend thousands of dollars to learn how to hand bind. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not part of my repertoire. I have no desire to ever hold a needle and thread. So, and it's funny when I talk to people about quilt shows, you get every opinion. And just like our quilt show, everybody tells me you have to do hand binding. And then when you read the rules, nowhere in the rules does it actually say hand binding. John says, I need the quilt sandwich assembly fairies. I know. I am so with you, brother. Oh, if fabric cutting fairies want to visit, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, see, and I even bought an AccuQuilt and bought a bunch of dies. And you know what? You still got to trim so much of the fabric and get it ready and drag that thing out and put the dies together. Yeah, it's like it still takes time. Now that is one of the things I keep hoping that I can get Mr. Curtis to do because he doesn't want to sew. He doesn't like this kind of stuff, and I get that, but he doesn't understand how much time it takes to cut fabric and do some of that. So if he would at least do that piece of it, how much more I would be able to get done. So we'll see. Um, we'll see where we end up there. Oh my God, Barb says I need kazoo from the Flintstones telling me to get to work on that quilt. That's so funny. I haven't heard kazoo for a long time, but I remember kazoo and I loved kazoo. It's so funny. At Cracker Barrel today, of course, while you're waiting on your table, they want you to spend money in their gift shop. They had the neatest Scooby Doo, because I'm a huge Scooby Doo fan. They had the neatest Scooby Doo t shirt that actually had all the characters on it, but then it had like the characters, like some of the ghosts and some of those things that you remember um, from some of their old cartoons. So Curtis took a picture of it as I pointed it out to him a couple of times. So that would make a tremendous birthday or Christmas gift. So hopefully he'll remember that. He's usually pretty good about that kind of stuff. Ah, they're objecting to my quilt cutting schedule this month. Katrina, I so relate. That's why I try to spend a day or two cutting multiple projects out. I've probably cut out about 8 projects. And now what seems to have been the problem is just getting the time to sew. But I've really tried to put, I really try when I go to cut that I cut multiple projects because I do. It just seems to take so much time, and I just want to get those knocked down and get that done. So we'll see, but I don't blame you at all. Oh, BBMK, tell your husband hi. We got to meet at the quilt show. They both came out. It was so amazing to get to see everybody. Russ says he loves him some Scooby Doo. I laugh when they throw inappropriate jokes in. Yes, and they always did, but that's what made them fun, right? And then Wayne says after doing 3 cotton cut AccuQuilt cut PMQs, I want a AccuQuilt Go. I will have to rob a bank to afford the dies. Yeah, it just takes time. I was fortunate because a couple of the women here in the quilt club actually, as they were downsizing and going into different homes and that, I was able to pick up some of the dies cheaply or at a reduced price. Our local quilt shop once a month sells a Notion for 40% off. They consider the AccuQuilt dies a Notion, so you can always get one a month at 40% off, which helps. And then AccuQuilt did run some really great specials during Black Friday last year, and then they actually had a week where they ran some really good deals. So I picked up quite a few that way. All right. Um, All right, so folks, oh, Andrea says I had some Scooby Doo fabric and made a quilt for my grandson. He gave me a weird look when I gave it to him. Come to find out he's not right. So fortunately, my grandkids know Scooby Doo just because my daughter is just one of those that she just remembers. I polluted her right to me at such a young age, so it is what it is, right? So I don't know. But folks, I really appreciate you all dropping in tonight. I am happy to say that I have now got all of the University of Louisville blocks put together. I have got all of the marine quilts blocks put together. Now I need to repress and get all of these pressed back out. And then I've actually got all the um, borders and that cut for them. So I will hopefully be working on borders and piecing very soon. And it won't be long, we'll have those quilt tops knocked out. But thank you all so much for dropping in, listening to me ramble. I appreciate each and every one of you. As always, hit that thumbs up, tell your friends and neighbors. But I love the chat, I love the support. And until next time, happy crafting.